every Monday night, you're checking out Breakfast Soup Raw.
Enjoy as Don Tony and Mish spill the soup about pro wrestling, sports, news, and pop culture. Breakfast Soup Raw.
Breakfast Soup Raw.
And now, your host, Mish and Don Tony.
The Raw after WrestleMania 38 is in the books. We're tired. We know you're tired. And what a shitty way to close out Raw tonight. Oh, my God. We'll talk about it. Hot opening, not so hot closing. This is Breakfast Soup Raw for April 4th, 2022. I am Don Tony, and he is
Anthony Missionary Thomas. What's going on, everyone? What's going on, GT?
Not too bad, not too bad. I know we are on fumes with this last week of pro wrestling. Kevon Lewis, welcome to the family, my friend. And wow, that's pretty cool. Dark match right now is Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes. Yesterday on the recap, I said, who should be the first person to face Cody, Roman Reigns or Kevin Owens? And we're actually getting that match tonight. I like it. I hope there's some footage online of the match. But, we're going to talk about Raw tonight. We're going to talk about the truth about a WWE producer who resigned from WWE today following his work at WrestleMania. We're going to talk about a new signing in AEW, which I think we will all approve of. And we also have to address Brody King. You want to open up with Brody King?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah,
let's talk
because, and by the way, I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your support, for myself, for Wrestling Soup, for everything that we have done, especially this past WrestleMania week. All the feedback was outstanding all across the board. And listen, we do this for all of you. You know, no matter where you access the content, we're here for all of you. And I think you will forgive us when we finish tonight in an hour. So we have all later this week. All right, Brody King. Now, listen, I've said this more in the watch parties than anything else, and obviously there's a much bigger audience here. I have been really thinking about stopping Wednesday Night Dynamite on Wednesdays. Not saying I'm not going to cover AEW. It's just, when you get to my age, your body does need more rest and more sleep. And the thing is that when you go online, and just because you're a WWE supporter, also you get a lot of shade thrown your way. Even tonight, CM Punk comes out to retro Ring of Honor music, and this fringe left doesn't tell you the backstory about it. They wait for you to embarrass yourselves with your ignorance that everybody's supposed to know Ring of Honor, what he did in Ring of Honor 17 years ago. And then they will school you like, oh, you should have done. But when Edge says that Damian Priest will be the punishment for the guilty, these same people don't even give you a chance to say, hey, that's what they called him in Ring of Honor. They're on Twitter trying to tell you that they're smarter than you, like, oh, they didn't even give you a chance. It's just the vibe online is horrendous. And I even said it on night one of our WrestleMania recap that I personally think it is such a pussy dick move to see so many people within AEW, not wish Cody publicly like props for the WrestleMania match and everything he did. And the excuse online is, oh, well, maybe they text him. It's not the point.
Yeah, they texted him. That's what I heard was for the people that are constantly using social media this night, specifically this night, is the only time that they chose to use private text.
Yeah.
Instead of patting themselves on the back.
But if you look at a lot of the AEW bios, people throwing shade towards Cody. You got to read between the lines. But, it's getting less and less fun to be an AEW fan. And the worst part about it is, about 3 years ago, I said that AEW is going to be the first millennial promotion. And at that time, a lot of people had no idea what I was talking about, but it was just a vibe. And it was just a sense that, them spewing that, oh, we want everybody in the company to have health care. We're going to pay the women the same amount as the men. We're going to do this, we do that. We're better. We're not going to have people like Hulk Hogan in the company. And all along, I've been saying, sooner or later, you're going to realize what AEW is truly all about. They are the same businessmen as WWE or anywhere else, and that dishonesty. And when you see the toxic behavior online, nobody within AEW ever says, look, guys, we're all fans. We need someone else to die. Seriously, we need someone else to tragically die to get everybody to say, come on, man, we're all family. Doesn't matter what promotion you work for. We're all family. With this and that. It's getting less and less fun to be an AEW fan. And then I saw this tonight. Damian Priest, now part of Edge's soon-to-be, faction group, a new brood, new ministry, whatever you want to call it.
Edgelords.
Huh?
Edgelords.
Edgelords. I like it.
Called.
Okay.
Yes.
Edgelords. Good. I mean, we know Edge's storied career. Damian Priest, all right, bumpy ride, but he's still really, really new. Yeah. So tonight, right before we went live, WWE posted a tweet to name this duo for now. And I like Brody King. Anybody that has checked out Wednesday Night Dynamite since this motherfucker joined AEW, I've been praising. I like this for disrespect. WWE asks their fans to name this duo, and Brody King responds with, when you order House of Black on Wish.com. All right, that's a funny tweet. But coming from this tattooed roly-poly, that has not established. I mean, this guy, he's with Malachi Black. He is talented, but that is a dick move. And just asshole. Another reason why I don't want to fucking cover this company. I will cover it because a lot of people who tune into our shows watch it. But man, they make it so, like, I look forward to these shows. It still feels like Christmas when we do these shows. Like, I can't wait for the magic that we could do, the response we get. I go to AEW, I'm like, these motherfucking unprivileged assholes. One guy that writes for Observer has no idea about CM Punk's history in Ring of Honor with the music. Hey, could someone fill me in on it? And CM Punk responds and calls the guy a clown. After the guy gets crucified worse than Jesus Christ on social media, then a day and a half, hey, let's all have tacos. Ha, ha, ha. These are assholes. I mean, I could see you throw a joke. Maybe there's some heat history with Damian Priest, with Brody King. But to throw fucking shade on Edge like that after Edge's storied career, seriously.
It's weird that this is what actually triggers you off about the AEW hardcores. Because I'm pretty sure myself and Joe Numbers have been saying it for a very long time. And I know that you've heard some of that too. A lot of the AEW Kool-Aid drinking fanboys have been assholes, DT. It's not something new. This has been like this since 2019. It hasn't changed. It's a section of the audience that gets their jollies off by making everybody else's lives miserable that aren't part of the cool kids club.
Yeah.
See, that's what AEW is. It's the cool kids club. Everybody that likes the AEW are part of the cool kids. And they get to tell people what they think of them and what they know. And they get to Google things and pretend like they've known it for years and lord it over you if you ever make a mistake, because they're the cool kids. I feel
like, honestly,
it should be reflective of the talents as well. So the fact that you see Brody King doing the exact same thing, why is it a surprise, man?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't do things for acknowledgement by people in the business. I get a boatload of emails and DMs. Some people don't mind talking to me publicly, but most of it is private. You've seen that over the years also. You get it too.
Sure.
And one thing that we always cherish is that secrecy, that bond. Like, a lot of people don't want this shit blown up. Like, hey, I love your stuff. Just don't mention me publicly. I just don't need bullshit on my wall. Fine, cool. And, over time you hear things here and there publicly. But the thing is, when you see this vibe and this fake aura, and then you work hard and you try to spread the word. We do a watch party on Rampage. And I said this 2 weeks ago, 3 people that work with an AEW that are very, 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 very low on the food chain. People that I have mingled with in the past, socialized a little bit. And I said to all 3 of them, I said, hey, I'm working with this company, Playback. I said, it's all legit. I said, they have a license deal and this and that. I do watch parties for Rampage. I said, maybe you can retweet it or maybe post it somewhere because they retweet everything. I said, and I want to get some attention to it. At the same time, we could get more attention for Rampage. Like maybe, the numbers aren't that great, but hey, if everybody gets together and just chats all night, maybe not even a response. When we were going to do Chicago, remember C2E2, whatever it was, and we were going to go to AEW, and I 3 times applied for a press pass. I didn't even get a no. They just ignored it. I mean, and it happened in New York also. It's like, why am I wasting my time, trying to, the wrestling part, a lot of what I see on TV, I enjoy and I'll cover it. But why should I stay fucking up until 2:00 in the morning on Wednesday? Why should I put this guy over and say, I know everyone out there, he looks like a fat tattoo guy with weird nipples, but, he's actually pretty damn good in the ring. And then this asshole throws shade like this. You're not funny. You're not fucking funny. And I don't give a shit. You could wrestle good. That's fine. I probably could beat you in an IQ test, and I damn do well in finance and insurance. He does something good that I'm not good at. But man, what an asshole, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on from this roly-poly because he doesn't even deserve it. He doesn't even deserve this airtime. It's probably the most airtime you're ever going to get on a fucking podcast. You fucking clown. Seriously. Oh, you could wrestle better than me, and you could probably beat the shit out of me. You're still a fucking clown. All right. Raw tonight, American Airlines Arena. We opened hot. Made you wonder what was going to transpire by the end of the night. There was rumors of a confrontation with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, The Rock. Somebody's going to come out. Maybe Brock comes out. And we open up pretty damn strong. Cody Rhodes comes out dressed in a suit and opens up with, so what do you guys want to talk about? Loud Cody chants, loud welcome back chants. He mentions it's been 47 days since he's a free agent. He addressed all the bullshit news that you have all witnessed in the last 47 days. And he says the star that left him in the dust to the man standing here now signing a multi-year agreement with WWE. And he thought of a phrase, a legendary phrase, that a person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. Meaning that his destiny was to come back to WWE, even though the road that he went on was to avoid it. And, I think what triggered a lot of people is when he said everybody thinks the decision to return to WWE was difficult. It was not. Then he gets very emotional. He talks about his dad, the late Dusty Rhodes. And they were like this. He brings up the story. His father telling him at 8 years old that he knew he had to win the WWF championship at the time so he could bring it to his father. If you paid attention to our WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 recaps, we told all of you to check out all the interviews that Cody's been doing with Variety and everywhere else. What he said tonight, that he always wanted to be WWE champion and give the belt to his dad. He can't do that anymore because Dusty is no longer here, but he could also do it in his memory. Teared up, legit tears, not crocodile tears. They had a picture on the Titantron, and I had to search out for it, but this is it right here. This is his feud with superstar Billy Graham, September 7th, 1977. He obviously didn't win the championship, but his goal is to become WWE champion. Now, I'll give you the floor. I just want to say one last thing. You know, I know Cody has done interviews because sometimes I got to dot the I's across the T's. I know Cody has done interviews and saying that he strapped himself by agreeing, doing a stipulation that he couldn't fight for the AEW championship. The question that I want answered, that no one has asked him, and I checked even this week, no one has yet to ask him, was it his decision to never go for the AEW heavyweight title? Because since it's been in his mind and in his heart, even before Dusty passed, that if he was going to win heavyweight gold to present it to his dad when he was alive, and once he was deceased, present it to his dad in spirit, that it was either WWE or nothing. That's the question that I want answered.
Well, he answered it. He answered that question tonight. I think you might have missed that. When he was talking about getting the gold that his father never got to hold, and he started bringing up the greats, and he started bringing up the other people like Hulk Hogan and Undertaker and Triple H.
And even Triple H.
He was going down the list. He made that connection that he wanted to give him the gold that his father never had. AEW has no connections to anything. That AEW may as well be a belt designed in a garage and given to him 2 years later. Like, when he was speaking on that story, he was talking about the historical connections between the WWE title, his father, and himself. AEW has no historical connections. And you know for a fact there's a million fucking indie federations that all have a world title, but none of them are a world title. None of them have the lineage. The WWE belt has the lineage, and that's what he meant. So while you're asking, like, well, why didn't he go for AEW gold? Well, it doesn't matter if he won it or not. Not to him. If his real goal was about getting the belt for his father, about getting the lineage title for his father, then Cody never really cared about the AEW title or ever winning it.
Right.
It didn't mean anything to him.
Yeah.
So by gathering what he said, you can narrow down the nuances to that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent point. Excellent point. So that's his goal. Seth Rollins comes out. No words from Seth Rollins. We think a little bit of, friction, animosity after what we saw at WrestleMania. But Cody Rhodes extends his hand, and we get a handshake. Mutual respect. But that was it. That was it. That was the end of the segment. What did you think about Cody?
Well, Cody was fine. Look, Cody coming out to the ring and explaining himself again. Like you said, you told everybody to check out the other interviews. We told other people about the interviews as well. Cody was doing a lot of junket this weekend, right? Like, he was all over the place, talking to anybody and everybody with a microphone, which is smart. And that's WWE PR anyways, to pretty much, like, once you're under the banner, it's time to sit there and do the junket. So when it came to tonight, you knew it was going to be something deeper. You knew it was going to be something related to the character as well as the person. And once again, Cody Rhodes did not disappoint. When he said things like it was a lot easier to go to WWE than AEW, I think I saw more traitor tweets pop up, which kind of made me laugh. Dude, I saw my favorite one. My favorite one was somebody had a garbage can full of Cody Rhodes toys. They just threw all of his toys.
Somebody set a Cody card on fire, and he actually took a picture of himself, like lighting it up. I don't know if I have any Cody Rhodes cards here. I have some AEW cards. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. You see, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't set one on fire.
The toys,
anyway,
the action figures. That's
so
what
stupid,
I mean. That's
man. It's so stupid because they think it's family and it's more important than
Cool Kids Club, DT.
Could we
Once you're a
segue?
part of the Cool Kids Club, you know, you have special amenities. You can't leave the Cool Kids Club.
Could we segue very quickly to something else that I know you want to bring up quickly? Because it kind of intertwines with Cody thinking about his kid, wife, future. All right.
Yeah, he brought up his kid. Right.
Pat Buck.
Yeah.
WWE producer. You know, kind of looks a little bit like Sam Roberts meets Carrot Top. He has been one of the big producers in WWE. He worked WrestleMania this weekend. He actually produced Roman Reigns versus Brock, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte. Pretty big matches to produce. He is now gone from WWE. And right away, you got the fringe left, the clickbait. Oh, after the horrible 2 matches, you know, yeah, he should have been fired. He didn't get fired. Oh, well, you know what? The crap that is WWE, I don't blame him for quitting. Here's the facts, everybody. I'll show you a picture. That is the reason why Pat Buck is leaving. Pat Buck has a newborn, almost the same age as Cody Rhodes' kid, maybe a little bit younger. Pat Buck with a newborn, and he needs to have more time with his wife, with his family. He wants to stay home. He wants to, you know, help teach, do seminars, but he needs to be home with his family. That's why he left. There is no friction. There's no animosity. Wasn't fired. Not leaving a sinking ship. But how many places are going to tell you that? Yeah, I got to point the opposite way. That is the reason why the guy left. The same reason why Cody Rhodes took the much bigger offer in WWE. It's a business. Anybody out there that leaves opportunity and money on the table, you know, for their family and their future. That's why I said, if you look at a lot of the AEW signings, you know, there is a couple where they have a family, you know. I mean, some wrestlers in AEW didn't even have children when they first got there. But if you look at AEW, there is kind of like a stereotype, and it's not a white or a black thing, but it's more of a single person or maybe dating someone or married to someone, people who like the game, people who like to socialize, people who like to, you know, not somebody who is working 9 to 5, taking a paycheck home, putting it in the bank for their wife, for their kid, their 2 kids, their 3 kids, their 4 kids. You know, when you get a family, you know, your mindset changes. And that's with Cody. Believe me, I tell you, I truly believe that if Cody and Brandy didn't have their child, Cody may still be in AEW. You know, we don't know. But I will say this in closing with Cody. You know, I think AEW will do just fine without Cody. I really believe that. Of course, you know, AEW's got to be concerned that Cody knows all the ins and outs behind the scenes of what makes AEW tick, and now WWE knows that. But for all the people out there that also feel that AEW will do just fine without Cody, if Cody is not that big of a deal, then why are people so angry and butthurt that he left? That's what I can't understand. I mean, I do understand why. You know, because they feel that, you know, if you were AEW and you're higher on the food chain, and you should be AEW for life. That WWE is supposedly this evil, horrendous. They still think about Triple H fucking Katie Vick or Vince, Mr. McMahon, and all the shit. They see the 80, 90 releases. You know, it's the evil corporate. These people are, they're the same type of people. They just don't have that level of money and resources to act that way.
Well, I mean, it's once again based upon that click. I mean, said it already multiple times. The reason those people act like that is because they, in their heads, believe that they're smarter than everybody else, that AEW is the best company around. I mean, all the shade that was thrown against Stone Cold, all the shade thrown against Vince McMahon. How could you have Vince McMahon out there wrestling? What a horrible company. And I'm like, Wasn't Sting falling off a balcony a few weeks ago? Wasn't that the big thing that you guys were all cheering for? Whatever.
Yeah. Two images tonight that I will always remember from Raw. First of all, Bianca Belair's shiner that she got, if you remember the top rope move by Becky Lynch, and she nailed her on the eye and it started to swell up before the match was even over. And you could see the results of it. That is not makeup, everyone. That is a legit shiner that she suffered. I know a lot of people wanted Asuka to come out. I know a lot of people wanted Bayley to come out. I know everybody wanted to see a confrontation. But because of the eye injury, whoever comes out to confront Bianca Belair, they want to be able for them to go at it a little bit. They're not going to take a chance with Bianca Belair with the eye the way it is right now. That's why we didn't get what we got tonight. The second image tonight that I will never forget is Ezekiel, don't call me Elias. Elias has returned, Mish. Elias, what do you think of the new look?
I don't know, man. He looks like, as people put it out, he looks like Von Wagner's dad. He looks like a mixture between Simon Dean and Damien Sandow. Yeah, he's done, huh? He's done.
I thought he looked a little bit. All right. If anybody was a wrestling fan in the 90s, early 90s, if you go with me with this one, I'm telling you, you will write it everywhere like DT. That is spot fucking on, especially if you look at his tights. He looks like 1993, 1994 Chris Benoit with his long wavy hair meets Rico Constantino.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his face, his Chris Benoit's hair in the 90s with those trunks, it's Chris Benoit meets Rico Constantino. I'm telling you. But I loved it because he comes down to the ring and in the background, it's Ezekiel, don't call me Jackson, and Kevin Owens, he's pissed off. He's blaming a bad back for losing to Austin, and then he's interrupted by Ezekiel. And we think it's Elias. The announcers are not mentioning Elias's name, but like, I know who that is. And everybody knows it's Elias. So he gets on the mic. He says, no, I'm not Elias. I'm Ezekiel, Elias's younger brother. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine if they have Alyssa, Elias's younger sister? They actually, I think this could be comedy gold, everyone. I think he's going to come out and for people like, look, if you really think I'm Elias, here, let me show you. And he tries to play the guitar and he can't fucking play, like he intentionally like blows it. Like he's going to come out and try to sing and it's going to sound like Marsha Brady. Oh, no, that wasn't it. Well, who was the one hitting puberty? Who remembers? The Brady that hit puberty was trying to sing. Was it Peter Brady? I can't remember. But
I don't remember either.
Yeah, someone in the chat room is older than us. No, it wasn't Cindy. Wasn't Jan. It was a guy. You know, it was time to change. Greg? You got to I can't believe I fucking remember that.
Greg,
God
Peter,
damn it.
I don't know.
Peter. It was Peter. Peter Pumpkin Eater. Andrew Dice Clay Rap. So what do you think, Mish? Honestly, you think this could be comedy gold?
Oh, no. No. This is Elias. I mean,
Ezekiel.
That Elias left, leaving his guitar in the fire, pretty much telling people of a prophecy of change, that there was going to be a new Elias.
I know what he looks like. Forget Rico Constantino. Chris Benoit meets Simon Dean.
Yeah.
It looks like Simon Dean. I don't know. I think we could have comedy gold, Mish.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. But, Mish, I don't know if you got this joke. I posted it late tonight. This is when I know I'm old because a lot of people don't get the joke. I want to see if you get the joke. 1980s girlfriend versus 2020s girlfriend. I have a picture of the old Elias and Ezekiel. You get the joke?
Yeah, it's because the picture on the left has hair.
Yeah, in the 80s, if you dated a girl and you were lucky to get, like a third base, you would always find a big, like, chunk of carpet down there. In 2020, yeah, you're probably not going to get that. You won't get Christie Canyon Bush anymore. Yes, Bush versus no Bush. All right, so that was Elias's return today. He is now known as Ezekiel. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he's got a jacked up body and everything, but he almost looks like an 80s porn star too. I could see him in an 80s porn star. Bianca Belair, as we said, she came out, cut a promo, touting her victory from WrestleMania. And, we all thought that she would have a confrontation. It obviously did not happen because of the eye. But she feels that we all deserved better than Becky Lynch as our women's champion.
Yeah.
Some people think Becky's taking time off. Some people think that Becky is going to come back and be a psychopath, like just totally whack job.
Really?
What's your gut feeling? You think this feud with Becky Lynch could continue a little bit further?
I mean, people brought it up before. There is a potential to make this some kind of like a long-standing feud. But I don't know, man. Her coming back as a psycho? I can't see that, but who knows, man. They absolutely have some unfinished business. Maybe around SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, because I can't, like, nobody really stands out right now as far as who could face her next. Sasha and Naomi are the tag champs. Shayna and Natty are going to remain a team because we actually had one split tonight, and we are about to have a second split as far as women's tag teams. I guess we could segue to that. First off, we have no footage. I had no intentions on getting it. I had no desire to watch it again. But we were supposed to get a tag match between Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Natty, Natalya, and Shayna Baszler. And before the match even happens, Queen Zelina calls out Carmella for losing the tag titles at Mania. And they get into a shouting match, and they officially split. And the next thing you know, Carmella goes to the announcer's table with Corey Graves, and they decide to play tonsil hockey for an extended period of time.
Well, I mean, that's their gimmick, right? That's the whole story. So, I mean, they had their little WWE YouTube show with it. I won't be surprised if this eventually comes to some kind of a light. I mean, obviously, people around them are sick of it. I don't know if it's going to be a girl that comes to it or another guy that, calls Corey Graves out on it. Maybe one of his peers, maybe a guy who just had 2 matches at WrestleMania will be the guy to say, hey, why don't you stop making out with your woman all the time and start talking shit about him on another show? That could be interesting.
A lot of people want a little more Pat McAfee in the ring.
Yeah.
He did a spectacular job at Mania. But so Queen Zelina and Carmella are no longer a team. Something else happened tonight, and there's some news that, it looks like it's going to lead in this direction. Now, there's a little wrestle crap with this as well. We had a championship contenders match tonight. It was Sasha Banks and Naomi, non-title match, championship contenders. So what it means is that if, their opponents win, then they contend for the titles. Okay. They face Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley tonight. Okay. Match was what it was. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan lose. Rhea Ripley is not happy about the loss. Rhea Ripley, turns her back on her partner, and she walks up the rampway, and she does not leave with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is like, what the hell's going on? Before Liv could even walk up the rampway, Kevin Owens then comes out and he has the thing with Ezekiel. But Rhea Ripley was not happy. Now, the wrestle crap part of it is later on in the night, Liv Morgan finds Rhea Ripley. And she's like, I've been looking all over for you. What was that about? What? Blah, blah, blah. And Rhea Ripley says, look, I talked to Adam Pearce. I talked to Sonya Deville. I got us a tag title match next week on Raw. Liv Morgan is happy. They just lost a championship contenders match, yet they get a title shot next week. Now, we know they're not winning next week, but the news that came out today, Fightful is reporting that a third member for Edge's group is heavily being considered to be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
What do you think about Rhea Ripley joining up with
fits.
Edge and Damian Priest?
She fits. She makes sense. I mean, if this is the direction of the new Ministry of Darkness or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, it fits. She belongs in a group like that. So,
you know, there's rumors about other people being considered as well. I posted earlier, I said, what do you all think about maybe Mace and or T-Bar? Mace has been off TV, and Mace, you know, he's a little bit of an intimidating motherfucker, but, you know, I was thinking about Mace and T-Bar. Could they be sort of the acolytes?
I mean, could be. Could very well be. I've also heard Veer is supposed to join the group too, DT.
I gotta be honest with you, man. Veer made his debut on Raw tonight, everybody. Now, this is basically what happened. Miz took on Dominic Mysterio. Match was 2 minutes, if that. It was just complete squash. Miz wins. Next thing you know, Veer, his music hits. He comes out. Nice reaction from the crowd. I think a little bit less than we expected. The problem was Miz rolled out of the ring almost immediately. Dominic Mysterio and Rhea still in the ring. So you know what's coming. Veer hits the ring, immediately kicks Dominic Mysterio, beats down Dominic, beats down Rey, massive heel heat. The person I'm going to mention now, I'm not friends with him, but I'm friendly with him online. And I've always defended him for various reasons. Too long to get into it now. But I have to admit, when I saw Veer doing what he was doing to Dominic and Rey, I immediately had a flashback to one person who made their debut also. Can you guess who it is? I will give you a hint. The person is no longer in WWE. Did not work out.
Ryback?
Close. That's not bad. That's not bad. Well, Ryback actually had some success, but this person, it never took off. Think of somebody who we were friendly with and talked to behind the scenes a little bit, who had a main roster debut, beat up a couple of smaller legends, and just never took off.
Sylvester Turkey? I'm not sure.
All right. Chat room got it. Well, a few people did. Lars Sullivan.
Oh, we're friendly with Lars Sullivan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've brought it up before. I've talked to Lars a few times privately about things. He actually loves that, I speak my mind and I do not sugarcoat and I just say how I feel and everything. I mean, probably be defending him like, hey, you're 19 years old. You say stupid shit sometimes and there's other reasons. But the thing is, as much as, I actually thought he was an okay guy, I will also admit, when he debuted and totally squashed like Jeff Hardy and just squashed other people and, yeah, and the crowd just didn't connect. I had that Lars, nothing against you, Lars, but I had that Lars vibe tonight. I said, no, I don't know. I support Veer. I mean, I really do. And he's got such a wonderful backstory, but I had a fucking Lars vibe tonight. It's not Killer Kross.
There's no point to him. I mean, there was no reason for Veer to have been put off for months for a debut of attacking Dominic and Rey Mysterio. This debut was garbage. It was garbage. I think I actually enjoyed people's speculations that Veer was going to come out as some kind of Emelina cartoon comic character and that he was going to be a gag and that he wasn't going to be taken seriously. But he comes down there, bland as hell, talking to himself the whole time he's coming down to the ring. Don't know what the fuck he's saying. Just talking to himself. Nobody around. Jumps in the ring and just randomly beats down Ray and Dominic. No reason. No backstory. Just, oh, it's time to debut. It's been 6 months. Go out there, kid. It's dumb. And if this gimmick fails with Veer, it deserves to. Yeah. I don't know what the hell they were thinking by holding this back for as long as they were, for that.
That was a smelly fart. That was a curry smelling fart. So I don't know, man. All right. Something else tonight that we could say is the opposite. You have said this idea for quite some time. Lee RCWR has said this for quite some time. Others as well. We don't need to revisit that controversy. But tonight, we had Bobby Lashley come out. First, it was MVP. Now, we all took notice that yesterday that Bobby Lashley came out without MVP. When MVP came out tonight, cut a promo, and he introduced Bobby Lashley, MVP in his promo said he was putting over Lashley, what he did yesterday, beating the Colossus. And he says, and he even did it without my help. So I thought that was the seed right there, like, uh-oh. MVP pissed off. You didn't even have me come out for WrestleMania. He brings out Bobby Lashley, all smiles, like he just blew his load or something, or he hit the lottery. But he's all smiles. Crowd is cheering loud for Bobby Lashley. And he's putting over what happened last night. And Omos comes out. And Omos, wearing almost like those Batista tight pants tonight. Even my fiance was like, what the fuck pants is he wearing? It was like tight jeans. Omos gets in the ring. Yesterday was a fluke. I want a rematch. And MVP says the Colossus. That's what they're going to call him now. The Colossus, Omos. He wants a rematch. So there's a stare down. Bobby Lashley, Omos. We don't see MVP in the picture. And then the next thing you know, MVP attacks Bobby Lashley from behind. Omos with the beatdown to Bobby Lashley. MVP throwing lots of punches as well. MVP and Omos are now a unit. And again, you and Lee were the first two people that I had ever heard of.
I think Lee said it before I did. I think Lee said it, and I think Kevin said it before I did.
But
so
I think this is tremendous. Omos obviously needs a mic piece. The only thing is, though, is it seems like Omos versus Bobby Lashley, that feud will continue. But what did you think overall today? I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was nice to see that happen. I was really excited for it. Omos is in dire need of a manager and a mouthpiece, and MVP's been the guy that, I agreed with everybody else that was saying it beforehand. I think that they were all right. Yeah, MVP is the guy who can absolutely talk for Omos. And it's interesting now that Bobby Lashley is out of the picture. He's going to probably do some babyface stuff. Obviously, he's going to work a program with Omos for a little bit, but eventually get squashed and give Omos a chance to kind of redesignate his direction in WWE underneath MVP. MVP being that voice. And so, I'm looking forward to it.
You think there's any chance we may get Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns?
Down the road. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what he's being groomed for.
Yeah. It just, Bobby Lashley, talking-wise, is better than what he was years ago. There's no question. But I don't know, man. Bobby Lashley without MVP, of course, it's something to get used to. But I think Bobby Lashley is better with MVP. Because, look, It was only 2 months ago and it was only that long because of injury. It was only 2 months ago that he cut one promo. I don't know who was against that night, but I remember you even saying, like, look, this is the reason why MVP needs to be the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. He was, remember, he was just mumbling and stuttering over words, and he sounded like he had like the Ric Flair lisp for a little while. Lashley could get into that rut, and there's nobody to bail him out.
Yeah.
But hey, this is what we got tonight. So, we had the Usos and Austin Theory beating RK Bro and Finn Balor. Austin Theory has more selfies with Finn Balor than I do with my fiance for 10 years. I mean, how many times is Austin Theory going to defeat Finn Balor? With all due respect, I know there's no titles on the line, and I know Ricochet won last week, but I look at Ricochet with his belt and Finn Balor with his belt. Neither one defended at WrestleMania. And I look at their run and I'm like, do they have the belt simply to just shut up some people online that are like, oh, Ricochet and Finn Balor, they should have titles? Because this sucks. I mean, I know you want to throw a bone for Austin Theory because he is a part of the future. There's no question.
Sure.
But, to see Riddle once again, it's like what we saw for months. Like he hits a move here and there, but ultimately he gets laid out. And the worst part about it was, if you go back and you look at the finish, there was an awesome sequence where Riddle hit a move, Randy hit an RKO, Uso hits a splash, kick, super kick. Everybody's hitting their stuff. But when Austin Theory got to Finn Balor after Finn Balor hit a sling blade on one of the Usos, Riddle was laid out on the side of the ring. And when Theory hit his finisher on Finn Balor, if you watch Riddle sees it, and then Riddle decides to just roll to the floor. And then Finn Balor gets pinned. I don't know, man. I mean, with the exception of Cody tonight and MVP joining with Omos, I don't know. I was not feeling this episode of Raw. Wait till we get to the end of tonight's Raw. Another problem I had, and hear me out, everybody. Edge comes out, touts yesterday. Damian Priest comes out, and it was pretty funny. Edge says that everybody is sheep. So the wise ass crowd chanting, "We are sheep, we are sheep." Edge brings out Damian Priest, "All rise, the man who will be the punishment for the guilty." Damian Priest comes out. Damian Priest says, "Weeks leading into WrestleMania, I was lost." The crowd is chanting, "We don't care, we don't care." And Edge calls them losers. Damian Priest says, in the past that would have bothered me. And because Edge called them losers.
That was so stupid. They handled that poorly.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you guys are losers. You're big old losers. The crowd was setting them up. They should have leaned into the crowd and said, yeah, you are sheep. Every single one of you should be cut by the throat. I should be standing here in pools of your blood. You are worthless. Your opinions are worthless. Your lives are worthless. They should have fucking leaned into that.
I absolutely agree. And this is the icing on the cake. So Damian Priest, starting to find his groove with his promo. Happy anniversary, Joe Punches, by the way. He loved Mania, and he has much love for us. Props to everybody. I know Super Chats are disabled tonight. The only reason why we did that is because I know everybody is tired. We're tired. We're going to be wrapping this up very soon. So we wanted to stay on focus with this. We could always do it later this week. But Damian Priest finds his groove a little bit. Then AJ Styles comes out.
Yeah, he looks good, too. Can we say that?
Yes.
Damian Priest and the Edge suits, look, I know that the promos aren't working great for them. The entrances have been badass. The suits look badass. I'm sorry. Dudes walking around in goth gear and black suits. I mean, there must have been, somebody said it earlier in Discord, there must have been a sale on black suits this weekend because everybody had black suits. You had
I'm showing
Edge,
some
you had
pictures from
Undertaker,
WrestleMania.
Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley. Everybody was wearing black this weekend.
Yeah. My problem with tonight with this also was AJ Styles, and I'll explain why. If anybody heard, oh, and by the way, we do have injury updates for Vince, AJ, Roman, and Rick Boogs. We'll get to all four in a second. Let me just make my point with AJ first. AJ Styles comes out, and he's fucking pissed. And he's going right at Edge. He's going to Damian Priest. AJ Styles puts chairs in the ring. He's going to try to hit a concerto onto Edge. What they tried to do tonight is what they should have done yesterday. AJ Styles seemed angrier tonight than he was yesterday. And don't blame it on the incident when he came down to the ring. Like, that anger was lacking yesterday. It was an awesome match. It ended up being my favorite match of the night because of how beautiful they worked together. But as psychology-wise, this evil, maniacal, demonic Edge that he's been describing for the last 3 weeks, you think you know me? Yeah, yesterday we do. Because yesterday he wrestled like heel Edge. Choose any era you want from yesteryear. There was none of that, like you said, let me grab you by the fucking throat, put you out of your misery. Let me just destroy AJ Styles, cripple him, do everything. No, they're just chain wrestling. So that anger that we saw tonight, that should have been yesterday.
It's because they don't have focus. This whole thing feels unfocused. Look, they have the entrance, they have the music, they have the look, they have the tenure, they have the ability. There is all the tools available to Edge and Damian Priest and probably to Rhea Ripley. The one thing that all of this doesn't make any sense, and I talked about it on night one, is the fact that he became a heel out of nowhere with no background to it. Just after beating up Miz and Maurice, all of a sudden decided to become Evil Edge. There is no focus for this storyline. There is no background for this storyline. The rumor mill was running rampant that it was supposed to be a carryover of the Ministry of Darkness, that there was supposed to be some kind of Undertaker connection to it, which, if that ever happens, will be great, because then that puts a premise as to why Edge has all of a sudden become Evil Edge. But there's no focus. There's no point to this storyline. They want you to just like this storyline because of all the elements that are a part of this storyline. It doesn't make it real. Dude, you can have frosting and strawberries and chocolate and sugar, but that doesn't make it a cake. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's no reason for any of this. Yeah. I mean, Damian Priest came out there, and Edge is like, well, I'm Edge, by the way. So why did you find it in your heart to come out there and help me yesterday? And Damian Priest basically goes, because you're Edge. And I'm just like,
it sounded like you were talking to me. When you said what you said, it felt like you were talking to me.
Right. I remember when I was a little girl, Jesus Christ, man. Come up with a fucking reason. It's not difficult. Like, they could easily, you know what? Off the top of my head, why is Edge doing all this? Why is Edge evil again? Because he wants to be who he used to be. Because he's always been down with the devil, and he's sick and tired of playing nice.
Yeah,
he's
sick of being something that I'm not.
Right. I'm sick and tired of this company. I hate this company. I hate all the fans. And I want people that deserve better to follow me. They're not next to me. They're followers. I don't know, dude. Just give it a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Come on, WWE. It's not difficult.
All right. Quick injury updates. Number one, Vince McMahon is fine. A lot of people were very nervous about his quad and his leg. It buckled when he fell. he is okay. He was able to walk to the back, and he was seen afterwards. Fine. A little sore, but fine. Rick Boogs is going to undergo surgery this week for the torn quad to his patella tendon, completely ripped off the bone. He's going to have to readjust his career. You cannot have that mass and do what he did. That one muscle may be uber strong, but the muscle surrounding it cannot handle that kind of pressure, and that's why it snapped off the bone. Who else? AJ Styles. All right, AJ Styles. It's a little controversy with this one. I'll tell you why. Yesterday, we all thought that the pyro got him in the face and, caused the bleeding and a little bit of mark that we saw. Now, a fan had footage when AJ Styles first walked out from the back towards the center of the entrance, and he banged his head on, I guess, because it's low, because it's curved. He didn't, let's be honest, he didn't look where he was going, and he smacked his head, and he was like, oh shit. But the only thing is, if you go and you watch when he goes to the stage and he does his entrance and the pyros go off, if you have like a 4K TV, you could see there is no blood. There's no sign whatsoever. But in hindsight, looking at it, it's just too coincidental that he banged his head right here, and then a pyro just happens to double whammy it. So it is getting hit in the head. He literally just hit the corner of the entrance coming out. There's a lot of fan cam of it on Twitter. Everybody copies and pastes it, but that's what happened with AJ. But as you saw, he's okay. I mean,
yeah,
nicked, he literally nicked the side of his head. Who's the fourth person? Oh, Roman Reigns. Before we talk about Roman Reigns, we obviously got to talk about Braun Breaker for a minute, but I will say this. Yesterday, and I understand why people felt this way, but yesterday, this floated around the net. Oh my God, everybody, look, Roman Reigns, his arm is, dislocated, it's shot. And they don't understand that when the microphones are right next to these wrestlers, they will stay in character. So when Roman Reigns said, it's out, and the commentators are playing into it that his shoulder is popped out, Brock Lesnar just hit the Kimura arm submission on that arm. They're selling what Brock Lesnar just did. People took it seriously, and because his arm was a little bit sore, banged up, they immediately thought the worst. So all night long, you see these people, he's got a legitimate arm injury, it's fucked up, he may have to drop the titles, will he require surgery? And I was talking to people yesterday. I'm like, look, man, don't base it on somebody doodling and drawing circles on a fucking picture. Let's get a report. Let's find out. Let's wait and see. Oh, but no, look at that. And then here's the arm bar right before it. But I want to show this, and this is what I wrote on Twitter, and I knew it wasn't going to get any traction because so many people ran with it without waiting for facts. After the event is over, right before they go off the air, Roman Reigns is holding the titles twice. And believe me, if his shoulder was out or fucked up, he ain't doing what he did. Then we get this picture backstage. I love Paul Heyman's reaction. We get this pose backstage. Hey, actually looks pretty good. Then we get this picture of Roman Reigns. Here's a better look at it backstage. And I don't know if I could zoom in. Maybe I can. If I could, let me see if I could zoom in on the arm. No, I can't. Okay. It looks like scratches. But the thing is that he's seen in the back for an hour after the match was over. If he was shot like that, there'd be ice packs. He'd be at the hospital. He would not be hanging out backstage for an hour with no giant ice pack on his shoulder. Instead of people just using common sense. I mean, how many of you out there have seen a pitcher in a baseball game, and right after the game is over, they're interviewing him, and they got this giant ice pack on their shoulder? even if they're not injured. So that should have been a telltale sign that Roman Reigns was okay. As you saw tonight, Roman Reigns, no serious injury. So use common sense. I was just surprised at how many people that were basing it as fact because somebody doodled. So, all right, before we talk about Roman Reigns and we'll start wrapping it up, we had an NXT title match on Raw tonight. Dolph Ziggler defending the NXT championship against Bron Breakker. Robert Roode at ringside. And I thought we were going to get similar of what happened at Stand and Deliver. Robert Roode would interfere, and then Bron would lose, and then there would be a stipulation for an upcoming NXT event where Robert Roode, if he interferes, Dolph loses the title. And then this way, it would be Bron versus Dolph straight up, blah, blah, blah. Then I realized, okay, there's no authority figure in NXT right now, and Shawn Michaels really doesn't make appearances. So tonight we get the title match. And once again, Robert Roode trying to interfere a little bit. Bron, dives over the rope, nails him, knocks him out. Crowd was pretty much dead during this match. They like Bron Breakker, but they really weren't feeling it. But in the end, Bron Breakker defeats Dolph Ziggler to regain the NXT championship. Are you surprised that they felt that this should have been a Raw after WrestleMania moment instead of going off the air at Stand and Deliver? Maybe he even has his dad and his uncle in the ring with him celebrating. I mean, do we really need to see this on a Raw after WrestleMania?
That was exactly how I kind of did our Stand and Deliver predictions. I thought that he was going to win it at Stand and Deliver. I thought that Robert Roode's going to get involved, and then the Steiners would come out in order to even out the odds. And I thought that was exactly how Bron should have won. That was my direct prediction. I thought that would have been fun. It would have been a great go-home moment. It was clearly the main event. Everybody would have gotten to see the Steiners right after the Hall of Fame, too. A lot of barking going on, and all three of them celebrating in the ring, maybe even putting him on their shoulders while he holds up the strap. Like, it was a beautiful thought moment in my head. And when it didn't happen, it was kind of like, oh, okay, they're going to milk this Dolph thing for a little bit longer. Bron isn't necessarily ready yet. Okay, that's fine. So no, I wasn't expecting anything tonight. I sure as hell wasn't expecting a title change. But people immediately said, well, the reason that they did that is because there's more people watching tonight. There's more people watching tonight. Because I even said, why not do it tomorrow then? If this was going to be this big moment, why not do it? Well, there's more people watching tonight. Well, it's a title for that show.
Right.
It's a title for NXT. I don't like that you can lose or gain the title of a different brand programming on a different show altogether. I don't know.
I agree with you. And it goes to show you that they really don't care about the rating as much as we think. Because if Bron Breakker did not face Dolph Ziggler tonight, that rating would have been the same. But if you advertise Bron Breakker versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode band or something like that for next week's NXT, I think you get extra viewers.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, man. We had another match that was kind of like, nothing against Alpha Academy or the Street Profits. I love Alpha Academy. Street Profits I like too. But again, they have a match. This time, Texas Tornado. And it ends up Montez Ford does one of his signature splashes, puts Chad Gable through a table, pins him. That's really what it was. It was a Texas Tornado. They're in Texas. All right. But to me, it's like, move on. Move on. I mean, and that could be the reason why Ziggler may have dropped it so quickly. That maybe they need to put Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler back in the mix to just give a different tag team for Street Profits or even Alpha Academy to start facing. We didn't get any call-ups tonight from NXT. We didn't get, any, teams that may have, been off TV for a while or maybe moved from SmackDown.
They did bring out Elias. They did bring out Veer.
Yeah.
They had Cody do his first promo on Raw. It felt like WWE was playing catch up with the fans. They were kind of coming through on a lot of promises that have been, kind of stagnating around. So it was almost like it was necessary. Tonight was necessary. It wasn't necessarily over the top or extra. You know, I mean, they explained the Damian Priest and Edge Alliance, MVP and Omos joining forces. Like, it was a lot of closing the gaps, which is kind of what you want.
Yeah.
So,
Roman Reigns comes out the end of the night. I'm looking at the clock. I always look at the clock at the end because you know they're going to go off the air at the latest 10:59. And I thought, all right, maybe we get a little over on this the night after WrestleMania. Roman comes out and it's 10:55. You know, he's in the ring and it's 10:55. Sounds like he's got a little bit of a cold. He's touting what happened yesterday. He has Paul Heyman read this whole resume as far as the success of the Usos, the bloodline, you know, Roman Reigns. And, you know, we're thinking somebody's going to come out. Some people thought Cody. Some people still think that The Rock could have showed up. We could have had Brock Lesnar, even though, even I said yesterday, I think you don't revisit that anytime soon. You just had the biggest match in WrestleMania history. If that leads to WrestleMania Backlash, it kind of takes away, you know. But now I'm looking at the clock again, and it's 10:58. And he's talking about, like, who's next or who's going to be, what's the plans, the future for Roman Reigns, the bloodline. And he's like, this Friday on SmackDown. I'm like, they're going to go off the air with nothing. And he touts SmackDown, and they're going to reveal something on SmackDown. So obviously somebody is probably going to appear for SmackDown, but they go off the air. I'm not saying that Roman didn't cut a great promo, but you would have expected something. I mean, I still think back when John Cena lost that match and he went in the ring, you know, the next night after Mania, and then Brock showed up and just destroyed him. I didn't think we were going to get that level of a moment, but we got nothing. Basically, it was, oh, you want to know what's going to happen? Tune into SmackDown because you ain't getting it tonight. I thought they went off the air very matter of fact. I did not like the closing of Raw at all.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty generic as far as what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what I was expecting, but just a
Yeah.
promo really wasn't it. So,
You know, I mean, it was good to see that Roman Reigns was okay. And, you know, I mean, he's got massive boos, even though he did get some Roman Reigns chants tonight. I mean, there are a lot of fans of Roman Reigns, but what a lackluster way to go off the air for Raw after WrestleMania. This WrestleMania has been one of the better ones in the last 15 plus years. And the next night, it just felt, once Cody and Seth got out of that ring, and like you even said before, when they shook hands and then we go to commercial, it just seemed like, all right, we're back to regular Raws. You know, it didn't feel very special tonight.
yeah.
So, couple of things before we wrap it up. Ratings for everybody that is interested. Rampage on Friday did 456, 7% increase. That's pretty good considering that the Hall of Fame was on, even though Undertaker, you know, his speech was afterwards. SmackDown did 2,359,000, which was an 8% increase. Impact with a 49% increase to 149, which is great. Dynamite went down a little bit. You'd be surprised with the matches last week. They went down to 979. NXT stood pretty stable at 626. Raw last week did 1,979,000. Does Raw break 2 million tonight? I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will. So. But I think that's not going to carry over the next week because this just fell flat, I think, in a lot of ways. For anybody that's interested, Foco is sending me more gifts to give away in the very near future. This one, I think people will get a good laugh out of. I think it's pretty cool. Ronda Rousey, her WrestleMania 38 bobblehead. It is now on sale. I think the detail is nice. I love the close-up of her head. I don't know, man. Because if you look in the bottom of the left eye, it's got the mole on her head. But that is the Ronda Rousey Foco bobblehead commemorating WrestleMania 38 for anybody that is interested. And two other things. Number one, this Thursday, I was supposed to have Joe Cronin on. We could still do it, but I actually reached out to him today and I said, look, we got SmackDown Friday. Big surprises, hopefully. Why don't we do our collaboration next Thursday? This way we could also talk about what went down on Friday, SmackDown. I'm waiting to hear back from him. So I will let everybody know by tomorrow if we're going to do a show together this Thursday or next Thursday. If we put it off to next Thursday, which I would prefer, then this week will be a regular Q&A with DT. So just to let you know about that. And one last thing before we finish tonight, actually two. Of all the Cody interviews that he did this weekend, check out the one with Ariel Helwani. It's not that he revealed anything different, but he is much more detailed in his responses. And it is interesting when he talks about Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Tony Khan specifically. But it is a much more detailed interview, and it's really good. In fact, when I go like this, there'll be a link for the transcript, and you could just click it, and you could actually read it. But it would be a little bit disrespectful if we didn't go off the air just briefly mentioning that in the midst of WrestleMania weekend and Ring of Honor and everything that went down, Samoa Joe has signed with AEW. He is now All Elite, and we expect him to be on this Wednesday's Dynamite. And he also will be appearing for future Ring of Honor events. So I think everybody, even though, we're a little bit perturbed about AEW and the vibe and the environment and some of the culture and everything else, but I think we're all in agreement that seeing Samoa Joe back in action, that's a good thing, Mish, right? Am I wrong with this?
I mean, I'm okay with him being a commentator too. I know people want to see him get back in the ring, and I think it's more along the lines of what he wants to do. But I think the guy was good enough to be a color commentator, probably even good enough to be a regular ring announcer as well. So It would not surprise me that he's just going to elevate the people around him. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know people understand my frustration that I said at the beginning of the show. That doesn't mean that a lot of the wrestlers we watch on TV are not worth watching. I still will watch. I will still watch religiously every week. It just, when you just get this really bad vibe that you can't even critique it online, you can't even express an opinion, you ask, you try to get a little bit of support around something and just everybody, it just feels like they take. And the only way to give back is what you see on TV. But that doesn't mean that it's not awesome that we got Keith Lee back in action, right. Samoa Joe in action, Tony Storm. There was some controversy over the weekend. Did you see that video with Tony Storm?
No, it's a new video with her.
Oh, boy. I was going to play it tonight. I didn't want to take a chance of any copyright issues. Mish, I promise you, this will be possibly your opening story for your Thursday soup when I tell you this. She did a virtual, not even a virtual autograph sign, but it was a virtual autograph signing for WrestleMania weekend. And long story short, some people who were unable to travel to Texas, they buy things online and then they sign it online. And I guess what the question that the person sent in is, who's her fantasy opponent? Now, she's said in the past, Ashley Mazzaro. I mean, so there's nothing wrong with that. But she was out of it. So people thought she was on drugs. People thought that she was on Xanax. Some people were like, she's just tired and spent. Do I think she was on drugs? No. Do I think that she was drunk and zooted out of her mind? No. But I tell you, Mish, I don't know if it was just she was disinterested to be there and really wanted to be somewhere else, even if she hung out all night long with her friends and didn't do anything wrong. But
see, I saw this video. I know what you're talking about now. I didn't think it was even a story.
oh yeah,
Let alone to be a lead story. All she did was take an edible. That was the problem. She took an edible.
yeah. You think that's what it was?
That's yes.
Okay.
And that's not my voice. That comes from other people that were there that pretty much gave her the edible. So that's all it was. She took an edible and she couldn't handle it.
Okay.
And if you've ever taken an edible and taken too much of an edible, you don't really have great focus at those times. So.
I got to take an edible when we do one of these shows. DT, what'd you think of Raw?
Oh, you wouldn't be able to concentrate. You don't smoke. You don't THC. So,
That's all right.
yeah. It's all right, dude.
It's time to go.
It sure is.
Mish, I know you have been busting your MFing ass all week.
Oh, so have you. Don't put that on me.
But you
more than I ever have. So.
You're more detailed with quality and everything, and props to you, my friend. Get some sleep.
By the way, for people that are interested, we did I reposted the night one show after remastering it. So if you're interested,
Yeah, if everyone wants like a good remastered, good high definition quality episode from night one, you go to
higher.
Well, yeah,
my original audio was just god awful, dude. I actually had to apologize.
It's better than mine. So if everyone go to WrestlingSoup.com and you can get it there. And then Thursday night, obviously, Wrestling Soup with Joey Numbers and Mish, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you're a member of our Patreon family, we will be doing it off the cuff. I believe it's off the cuff tomorrow. You know, look, we do interactions live. We'll talk about Mania, whatever you all want to bring up. You know, just show up live in the chat room and ask away. We're going to do a fun off the cuff hour tomorrow. And yes, there will be a watch party, but I will say this. As of right now, it is my fiance's birthday. She is 43 years old today, April 5th. She was born April 5th, 1979. I have to take her out to dinner Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. I need to spend a little bit of time with her Tuesday night.
Why don't you spend the whole day with her?
Well,
we can always do breakfast soup on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something. Seriously,
maybe we will. Maybe we will. I mean, you know.
I mean, it's not that difficult to push it off a day or two.
You know what?
People have more than enough content over this last few days to last them through another
You know
day.
what? I don't want to put you on the spot. Would you be fine doing a Patreon Wednesday night? We could do it earlier, maybe like 9 o'clock or something.
That would be perfect.
All right. So you know what? All right. So for our Patreon family, Wednesday, we may have to do it at 10 if people are going to watch AEW. But yeah, this week, just because of Brody King being a total dick, no Wednesday night Dynamite this week. But I promise all of you that do enjoy Wednesday night Dynamite, I will recap AEW and NXT on Thursday's show. So Thursday we'll do a Q&A, but I will also cover AEW, and we'll have the rating by then as well. So you're not going to lose an episode this week. We'll do it on Thursday. So the watch party, look, I could connect to the watch party tomorrow, and I could just say hello to everyone and leave everything connected, and I could go in the other room. You know, so my microphone will be muted, though. But yeah, so the watch party will still be on tomorrow. But even if I, can't make it, I could connect, make sure everybody's on the stage, and then I could step aside for a little while. So yeah, tomorrow, normal schedule, watch party. But Patreon, I'll let everybody know on Patreon as well. We'll have a show Wednesday night instead of Tuesday night. Mish, have a good night, my friend. I'll see you Wednesday.
All right. See you, everybody.
Be well. All right, everybody. I want to jet out of here. I thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope you had a fun last 7 days. I know tonight's Raw was somewhat disappointing, and I don't think that's an exaggeration, but it should not oversight all the spectacular wrestling that you got this week. Think besides WrestleMania, you think of Ring of Honor, you think of GCW, you think of Bloodsport, you think of all the companies, Impact, everybody gave different forms of pro wrestling entertainment, and everybody seemed to have found something that they enjoyed. You know, it comes once a year, and it may not be WrestleMania for a lot of these other promotions, but that vibe, though, takes over, which makes a lot of these events feel that much more special. So I hope everybody enjoyed this week. You all get some rest as well. But before you go, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe if you like the channel. And if you want to possibly join La Nostra Familia and become a channel member, then click the link or the join, and that's it. So just to rehash, tomorrow there will be an NXT watch party. Patreon will be postponed to Wednesday, and my coverage of AEW and NXT will be part of Thursday's Q&A. And I will see with Joe Cronin. Look, if Joe Cronin says, no, we got to do it this Thursday, I can't do it next Thursday, then I will have Joe Cronin on Thursday. I will let everybody know by tomorrow what is going to go down on Thursday. So, you know where to reach us, everyone. Shouldn't be hard. I hope you all have a great night. Stay safe, be well, and I'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.